What? You can do what you want to do. All right, Shalom, Israel. We're the ISUPK, started on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commandant General Yohana. Since 1969, he's been bringing out the truth to the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians about who we are according to the Bible. All right, we're not affiliated with any other Israelite groups. Okay, we stand alone. We have nothing to do with the Christian Church, the Black Panthers, or any other biker group or gang that people want to affiliate us with. We stand alone. All right. So tonight's class is the Brotherhood class, man. So last week we read about some things in Micah 2:10 where it says, "Arise and depart." All right, for it's polluted. But before we go in there, we're gonna get a precept out of Psalms right quick. It's gonna be Psalms 111, chapter 111, verses 10. It reads, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. All right. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. His praise endure forever." So what does that mean? The fear of the Lord. All right. You got to understand, if you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian, there's something that we've been commissioned to do by the Most High Power, Yahweh. Not those other names that he was given by, big head brothers or fake scholars or fake woke people. His name is Yahweh. He's the Most High Power. All right. What is that thing that we're supposed to do? Okay. If you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian, just like any good child, you're supposed to obey your parents or your parent, you know what I mean? Whichever. But when it comes to the Most High Power, we're supposed to be obedient to his laws, statutes, and commandments, something that we don't do as a nation of people. So therefore, we pay the ultimate price, and we're destroyed in this nation. We're counted as ones that are on the bottom. All right. That fear is understanding that, the Lord, he won't be mocked, man. Contrary to what you believe and what is learned in the Christian church, the Most High Power will not be mocked. He gives us chance after chance after chance after opportunity through grace and mercy to get ourselves together, man. Grace and mercy is a time period in which we need to spend in the ISUPK up under Commandant General Yohana, learning how to be brothers and sisters, priests and prophets, daughters of Zion. Understand that if you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian, we have not been called to make a marriage with this world. You understand the Lord destroyed the world before when that happened and only found one man to be righteous in all his generations. And that was Noah. So when it comes to us, we're supposed to do that very same thing. And that's be obedient to our power. Because when we aren't, we don't have a power. We don't have any understanding. We don't have the covenant. You know what I'm saying? We don't have not the covenant. We don't have the oracles of Christ, which is our actual advantage. Our house on a high hill. We can see enemies coming afar. We won't be under his protection. So that fear is knowing that, listen, man, if you smoke weed, you will get cancer. You will be cognitively distorted. Your conscience is gonna be playing tricks on you. What's a little short dude? Now I forget. My mind playing tricks on me. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be you smoking that weed that's laced with whatever. God knows what. You know what I'm saying? When you take that line of coke, you know what I'm saying, that paranoia gonna set in. You might be running for a couple hours, your little pick me up so you can keep doing what it is that you're doing. But understand that those things are going to come to an end. And having that fear, which is the beginning of all wisdom, will keep you from doing those things that we're not supposed to do in the first place. We don't have to understand what that punishment is, that evil that's going to come. If you molest a child, that evil that's going to come if you're a freaking pedophile, that evil that's going to come if you're a homosexual. And Barakatah Yahweh Yahushua to the Most High Power and Christ for what's going on now with these monkeypox. Because before, back in the day, brothers and sisters, man, they were ashamed, to be a homosexual. And that's good. Or to be, I guess I'm a lesbian, you know what I mean? Because that's not what we're supposed to be, you know? We're not supposed to be those things. We're not supposed to lay with mankind like you would lay with a woman. That's an abomination. And so when it was done, you know, thanks to the Greeks and the Romans, you know, that's their nationality, you know, it was something that was secret for a long time. And I was born in 86. And I remember, you know, certain things, somebody say, come out the closet. And I'm thinking to myself as a kid, like, what the hell was he doing in there in the first place? You know, not understanding that he's talking about a man that's going to come clean about his homosexuality, regardless if he has age or regardless of what society thinks. Now, you know, there's a huge population. Back then, it probably was too, but it was more secret and made known today. And today, it's so diabolical because they try to drag our kids into that culture, man. And this is why, thanks to Commander Junior Hanna, you know, the true priests and prophets in the ISUPK, we're cult leaders, man. We don't go for that mess, that nonsense. Hey, shalom, sis. Yashmar Thabashim Yashah. You know, we don't go for that nonsense. Salaki. We don't go for that nonsense, man. We fear the Lord. We know that if you're a homosexual, you're going to get monkeypox. You know, you're going to get HIV. You know what I'm saying? A home invasion. You know, you're going to have all those problems, you know, that you should have because you're doing something that's so abominable just to you know, soothe your flesh, you know. And now, thanks to Barack Obama and, you know, his administration, you know, the LGBTQ, you know, acronym community, they're trying to become a nation. And one of the brothers was bringing out heavy the other day, the difference between, or the so-called difference between MAP and pedophilia. We're going to get into that right quick, and we're going to finish off that precept and move on. Because it just blew my mind that this is an actual conversation. So here it is. It says MAP versus pedophile versus sex offender. So MAP stands for minor attracted person versus pedophile versus sex offender. So a minor attracted person, or MAP, is a widely acknowledged term used in the global sex offender research and sex offender treatment community. All right. So this comes from the Global Prevention Project. And that right there is just a pocket. I'm gonna read this little article anyway, because they're not trying to prevent, you know what I'm saying, homosexuality or pedophilia, you know. They're trying to give it its own name so it can be its own nation. They're trying to wipe out the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, you know. But that's not going to happen, thanks to Commander Junior Hanna and ISBK. But I'm going to read on. It says, to rhetoric, this is not a term we invented, nor is it a term used to reband pedophiles, or link them to the LGBTQ community. And to say that right in itself, man, I'm going to read it one more time. To rhetoric, this is not a term we invented, nor is it a term used to rebrand pedophiles or link them to the LGBTQ community. And from what I know and I experience from people that are homosexuals or lesbians or gender non-specific, they had dealt with some type of child molestation. And so the term minor attracted persons, listen, if they could fight off having an attraction to a minor, you know, we wouldn't be having this conversation. So why would you think that they could fight off that attraction? You know, I'm just attracted to them. No, they can't. It's a very disgusting thing. And if you think that they're going to just have some type of couth or some type of disposition or self-discipline not to touch a child, you got to be freaking kidding me. You know, you got to be actually a little delusional, right, to even be having this conversation. You know, and this is branded and it's able to be had because of the Christian church, because of the lies, because we don't fear the Lord and what he says he would do if we don't keep his law, statutes, and commandments. All right, which is the beginning of all wisdom. It said a good understanding have all they that do his commandments. And like I said before, man, thanks to Commandant Junior Hanna up under that IHPK banner, you know, we have a good understanding. You know, in here, you're not going to find any maps or pedophiles or sex offenders or any of that. You're going to find true priests and prophets who fear the Lord, who go to war, take up arms and go to bat for our people, man. You're not going to find nobody with no hat with no pizza logo on it, you know what I'm saying, that are in, child sex rings, which I don't even understand. You'll wait for a chicken to reach its full term and harvest. You'll wait the 7 to 11 weeks for a Cornish hen to reach its full term harvest before you slaughter it or you harvest it. But when it comes to a child, you have to have an attraction to a baby, man. I don't understand it. And God forbid, any of my brothers and sisters have to deal with that nonsense that are in this truth. Because it would be a terrible thing, you know what I'm saying, if something were to happen to you, if it did, because it's unnecessary, man. We have a population full of grown adults. Why do you want someone who can't make decisions for themselves? Why would you want to molest a child? You don't want to eat chicken that ain't got no meat on the bones. And have this conversation is man, it's so unethical. But because of the times that we're living in now, we have to have these conversations. But let me get back to this article, Salakia. MAP is an umbrella or all-encompassing term used to signify or delineate specific ages of attractions. So a pedophile is an individual attracted to a pubescent child, all right, before puberty. So that's just disgusting. And I grew up in what they would call the dirty South. It ain't so much toast South, but in the South, man. And I remember, having these freaking devils for track coaches and football coaches. And it was just like, they had a slogan: if it's grass on the field, play ball, which is freaking disgusting, because at the end of the damn day, this is why we're not supposed to marry, other nations. You know what I'm saying? We're not supposed to take unto ourselves wives of these heathen nations. And when you do that, you're subject to pedophilia. You know what I'm saying? Hebophilia. And man, I can't even read this. Ephebophilia. So one is an individual attracted to a prepubescent child, 11 through 14, and then the other one is an individual attracted to a post pubescent child, ages 15 to 19. So grass on the field, play ball. There's a name for that. So I'm gonna read. It says, regardless whether you believe attraction are chosen or innate, the point is that these terms defined an attraction, not a behavior. All right. The behavior began action on these attractions. The behavior begins on the action on these attractions, i.e., the sexual abuse of a child. In our program, this is exactly what we want to prevent. And see, here's the thing, man. And I'm done reading this nasty article because you can't prevent anything, man. If you think it's just like doing it. Why sit here and lust and fornicate in your mind over a child until you just can't fight back, you know what I'm saying, your innards from doing an outward thing, a nasty act, man. Like, period. Instead of naming all these different types of people, it should be death that should come upon you. And I guarantee you, they would fight off those thoughts and those feelings, fight off those, like, and it's like, the oppressor, who is the devil the Bible speaks of, is such a nasty creature, man. You had those talks with your child. Would you eat a booger for $5? And it's people that would do it for free. They come out with a show called Fear Factor, where they're eating things that are unlawful. If you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Indian, and they're doing things because they know that this is entertaining to a people that know they know full well that they're not even supposed to be thinking about doing some of this nasty stuff. And so now this global prevention program, it ain't doing nothing but heating up these coals, for these nasty individuals. But Rakatayi Hawaii Hawashai and the ISPK under command of Jay Hana, these mighty priests and prophets that go to war every weekend, all my brothers. Shalom, Yahabashim Yashab Rakatha, my brothers, man, that go to war. So that we ain't got to deal with this in our communities. You know, one Passover was all it took for me to understand what a taste of the kingdom of heaven is going to be like, where we don't have to worry about no minor attracted people. I have nieces and nephews that I'm willing to die for, man. I've done it once and I'll do it again. This time it'll be a physical death if you put your hands on anyone that I love. Understand that. But we ain't no cowards over here. Ain't gonna be no hugging the predator. Like, nah, I'm not shaking hands with my enemies and I'm not doing none of that mess. You know, keep your thoughts and your actions under control, man. Gird up the loins of your mind. If you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian, come into this truth. You know, Lord, we got classes every dang on day, man. Every day throughout the world, throughout the planet Earth. I mean, we're on the internet and the airwaves. Understand that. You have questions, ask your questions. You know, don't become a pedophile. Go to war with your demons. Everybody want to talk about they love God. You know what I'm saying? They love the Lord. What Lord are you speaking about? Everyone talking about not my Jesus. You know what I mean? But in the same breath, you clapping for this homosexual choir director. Not my choir director. Well, he's a homosexual. But because he's yours, it's okay. It's okay. No, it's not okay. It's never okay. And in the kingdom of heaven, if you don't abide by the law, statutes, and commandments, you will be put to death. Understand that. Your choir director, your pastor. Understand that. Your child, your husband, your boyfriend, and your girlfriend or fiance. Don't get it twisted. It's just not men that have these minor attracted persons deficiencies or should I say man, that's so freaking gross. Don't have pedophilia. Women do too. Oh yeah, it's a big thing. It's a big thing. That's why R. Kelly in jail right now, having childhood trauma that he wasn't able to overcome because instead of fighting his demons and going to war with them, he let them live. And if you didn't know, I'm going to tell you right now, a demon's job is to destroy you. And that destruction can come sorely and it can be drawn out upon years of humiliation, you know what I'm saying? Thoughts of suicide and fear and depression, or it could come all at once and you commit suicide, you know, or you end up on TV, you know what I mean, trying to save face. And those demons just laughing and carrying on. Now you're a public spectacle because you was on demon time. Man, let me get back to this precept, Salakia. I'm gonna start from the top. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that come that do his commandments. His praise endure forever, man. Understand that, man. That work you do for the Most High Christ, you know, that faith that you have by keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, this word, it's never going anywhere. So it was here before us, here with us now. And then when Christ comes back and that sky cracks open and, you know, we're taught how to do this and we're come back. And those that were called to be fishermen, that are called to be hunters in the kingdom of heaven, understand that this word, this law is going to endure forever. Everybody's going to do these laws, statutes, and commandments. So if you think that you're going to be in heaven, you know, shuffling your tarot cards or smoking weed in the ghetto or, you know, being a whore or a whoremonger, you're absolutely positively out of your mind. You know, think not that that's what the kingdom of heaven is going to be about. Everybody's going to serve the Lord. Everybody's going to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, whether you like it or not. So if you think you're going to be in a place where that white Jesus is and the Goodyear baby floating around butt naked, which is so homosexual in itself, and you wonder why. You wonder why we have conversations about minor attracted people, man. You know, Greek culture and tradition, you know, you call yourself an American, and then you call us a hate group. because we're cult leaders, because we don't want to follow the norm. We don't want to marry this world, which the Bible says we're not supposed to do. This is a heathen nation. That's why they smoke. That's why they eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. This is why they have minor attracted people, pedophiles, sex offenders, people that will eat, like I said before, a Cornish hen takes 7 to 11 weeks to go full term before you can harvest it. But when it comes to children, you can't keep your greasy, nasty, filthy palms off of them. And I can't understand that. And I'm not going to understand it. Don't touch no children while you're around me. It'd be a terrible thing if you got stabbed in your forehead. And I'm just being honest. You know what I'm saying? It would be a terrible thing if that were to happen. Or anything much worse. Because you can't gird up the loins of your mind and go to war with your filthy, stinking lusts. You wonder where they come from. They come from the nation of people that you serve. Matter of fact, we're going to go to Deuteronomy 7:6. And this is why the Lord separated us from these nasty, wicked nations, man. These people, that choose to do these ignorant things, mail order brides, arranged marriages. I heard a story that was so nasty about a Hamite, molesting his own child. He had to be the first man to sleep with her when she, came on her flower. And it's such a disgusting story. I'm not going to go into it for the squeamish in the room. And I don't want to get, censored or whatever the heck, but it's nasty. You Hamites know what you do. Matter of fact, before we get into that, I'm going to go ahead and read who Ham is in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary, all right? Because we are not Africans, okay? We're not Africans. Understand that. If you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian. So Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, all right? Understand that. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites, man. So, for all you that think you're a nasty, stinking, filthy heathen, and you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American heathen, I just read to you, and I don't know if you can see it. Let me see. Once the thing catch up, we are Africans, man. Matter of fact, I'm just show you the back because the focus is all off. You know what I'm saying? This is the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. All right. We're not Africans. Don't call yourself an African American because you can't be from 2 places at one time. I just read to you that Ham, who was an African, was the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, the Egyptians, the Ethiopians, the Libyans, and the Canaanites. And I'm going to tell you something about Ham. All right. He was cursed from doing some nasty junk back in the day, and he's still doing it until now because that is who he is, with his homosexual tendencies and acts and ways. Like, come on, we're not Africans. So get that out your mind if you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American Indian. All right. We go to Deuteronomy 7:6, and I read this all the time because it's so imperative that we understand who we are. Those lies that are being debunked, listen, the Bible says hold fast to what is true, man. And this is where you're going to find the truth at. So Deuteronomy 7, verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord, thy God. I just read. It said not the Negroes. All right. So to be a holy people unto the Lord thy God, the Lord our power. Holy just means separate. All right. Has nothing to do with the Christian church or that falsified image of Caesar Borgia, who was actually a homosexual and a murderer and a politician and some government official, who fell in love with a man that could paint. And his father, was a Pope, Alexander or something like that. I can't think of, so let me not even go there. But his father who, had the power to have his picture put up everywhere. Like, understand that, man. It says, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. Talking about the 12 tribes, the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians, right? The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself. A special people. Oh, it's all good. I'll tell you, you can find it in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary, all right, under ham. All right. So in this compact Bible dictionary is going to be page for all you Lavinios in the house. At what page 15? No, it's going to be on page 213 at the bottom right. Talks about who Ham is. All right. Lavinio was brother character off of what was that? The Wood. He asked what page 15 was on. But nah, okay. So I'm gonna keep going. All right. It says, "The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself." Special unto himself, man. Y'all know how it is when you got a whole cookout and you first want to get there so you can make that special plate unto yourself, right? So that once the food gets all touched on and everything else, you have a special plate for yourself. That ain't nobody coughed over, sneezed over, then, I don't know how many old ladies come on in there with them cutoffs and be reaching over, to grab something in the back and deodorant flakes dropping all in the potato salad. See, you'll get a special plate unto yourself, so you ain't even got to worry about that. All right. So I just read, "The Lord thy God, the Most High Power, have chosen thee," the so-called Blacks, Hispanic, and Native American Indians, "to be a special people unto himself," right? But dig this, "above all the people that are upon the face of the earth." Say nothing about the nasty Hamites, you know what I'm saying? Those nasty, man, it ain't say nothing about any other nation of people. He's specifically talking to the 12 tribes. Understand that if you're so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian, the 12 tribes of Israel, all the people on the earth, the face of the planet with all the flavor, the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and the First Nation people, man. Get that in your head, all right? Not Ham. You're not a Egypt swallowist. You know what I'm saying? I hate walking around seeing brothers, sisters with the unk on and, doing all that mess, burning sage and keeping cultures and traditions that are going to innately get you killed. Black man, Hispanic man, Native American Indian, get you killed. Like, how long would you watch your child sit here and kick your wall, put a dent in it, after you done told him to stop, right? How long would you sit here and allow your child to do something that you don't do yourself, that you never taught him to do, that he learned from some other place? How long you let your child be a little bastard, man, before you decide to whoop they behind, for lack of a better expression? Well, I got news for you. You know what I'm saying? I like the brother Kevin Samuels. You know what I mean? He was a funny guy. But what did he die from according to his autopsy report? He died from hypertension. Hypertension. What is hypertension? That's high blood pressure. You get that when you eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. You stand corrected by the Lord, you better hope and pray that you still have your life afterwards and have an opportunity with all your faculties to do what you were supposed to do in the first place, and that's keep these laws, statutes, commandments before that fierce day of the Lord, man. And you better, God forbid, listen, that fierce day when that sky cracks open, 200 million angels fly up in his joint, and you thinking you'll be singing Kumbaya and holding hands, like, nah. It's a thing not come to spend peace, but a sword, man. Go get your head cut off, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, you that's not what you should want, especially when I just read that he chose us, right, to be a special people unto himself above all the people that are upon the face of the earth. So, with the analogy I just gave you, you first went at the cookout, you get that plate, boy, before grandma stretch her arm over there, and them deodorant particles fall into the potato salad, and people come in there just grabbing stuff, licking their fingers, and you make that plate specifically for yourself. You put the foil on it, you start at the bottom of the plate, you come over the top to the bottom, then you turn it sideways, you wrap it real nice, good, nice, and tight. Then you place it in the back of the fridge. All right. And that plate is specifically for you, because all the other plates after that plate, they're going to be, man, they're going to be defiled, whatever. Right. So what would you do if you opened up that fridge, looked at the back of the in the back of the fridge where you put it at, right? And your plate was open. That plate that you specifically have for yourself, are you going to eat off of it not knowing? Or are you just going to throw it in the trash? We just read about the fear of the Lord. So you being, you know what I'm saying, a child of the Most High, supposedly, if you keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, right? If you would throw a plate in the trash that you made specially for you yourself, right? Specifically for yourself, what do you think the Most High would do when He made a group of people specifically for Himself that choose not to keep His laws, statutes, and commandments? And you wonder why? Why did that baby get shot in the head? Why he get the? Because the Lord, understand that life and death pass through His hands alone. It's not by accident, man. He created peace and He created evil. So to have that understanding, you're going to keep these commandments. That's what the fear of the Lord is, man. Keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, because you know that if you don't, you're going to be what? You're going to be in the judgment, man. If He judges you, hey, listen. Hey, see you later. But let me get back to some of these precepts. So, Salaki, we're going to go to Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. I'm done talking about the map versus pedophilia. You know, like Muhammad Ali says, man, you got 10,000 snakes coming at you, and you know 20 of them, and they are harmless snakes, and they're not even venomous. But are you going to hold the door open for the 500 and risk letting in 10,000 venomous snakes? No, you're going to slam the door on all of them. Why? It shouldn't have been a snake in the first place. You know, when it comes to the so-called Blacks, Hispanic, Native American Indians, man, if you're tired of that hellish condition that you're in, listen, let go of this world, man. Depart from it. Keep these laws, statutes, commandments, and come into life. The Bible says the truth shall make you free. And that's an absolute truth, because all my brothers know that for a fact. Coming into this understanding, man, holding on to the oracles of Christ, so that you ain't got to be fearful when the police get behind you. And I'm going to tell you one thing. We don't beg for our lives up in here. That's not what we do. We're not victims, you know. You see these strong brothers out here in these corners, you know, going, we don't have security. We are our own security. Because we keep these laws, statutes, commandments, man, we got angels that watch over us. Barakatah Yahweh Yahushai. All my brothers are willing to go to war for one another. Understand that. Pray standing up, man. Ready for war at all times. So let's see, Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Let me get that right quick. It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. All right. And if you don't know what conclusion means, let's look it up. Conclusion. All right. The first definition says a reasoned judgment, inference, the necessary consequence of two or more propositions taken as premise, especially the inferred position of a synologism. I don't know how to say that word. I probably just butchered it. All right, so this is what we want right here. The last part of something, such as a result or an outcome. That's what a conclusion is. So let's hear the outcome or the result of something, right? The last part of something. And like I said, this is Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter, right? Fear God, keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Understand that, man. Get that is fear God. All right. Understand that He will kill us if we don't keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. We will die from HIV, monkeypox, you know, these plagues He let loose, hypertension, you know what I'm saying? You get your diabetes. Like, God is not mocked. He will do what He said He's going to do. All right. Mercy, that runs out. Contrary to what your pastor has told you, grace and mercy runs out. Fear God and keep his commandments. For this is the whole duty of man. Your duty is not to argue with your baby mama. Your duty is not to argue with your baby daddy. Your duty is not to serve your children more than you serve the Lord. That's not your duty. Your duty is not to just work, and you know what I'm saying, look forward to a hefty retirement, because this is not our rest. I just read to you what the duty of man, the whole duty of man is to fear God and keep his commandments. Understand that if you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American Indian. All right. We have to work. We have to slave, because this wicked kingdom, man. This is not our rest. If you're so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian here in America, keeping his commandments, something that the Christian church says are done away with, is the reason why we don't have pedophiles or minor attracted persons in the ISUPK. Understand that. Because we keep these laws, statutes, commandments. And by doing that, you can be therefore perfect, man. And serving the Most High power. Let me get one more precept. Yeah, you turn on the news and, man, gay pride is just, well, Salaki, I think that's what they call it. Pride, you know, they have their little celebrations, whatever they are, man. Record numbers of homosexuals that come together and just are just so proud and happy for whatever reason. Like, nah. So happy, just so proud, and just doing whatever it is that they lustfully want to do, which is molest more kids, because that's where homosexuals come from. You know, a child being molested and growing up and wanting to be stronger or more powerful, just weak innately, you know, because you know that two men can't have a baby, neither can two women. I don't care how many science projects you do, it ain't happening. You know, Mr. Oppressive Man. Like, you'll never see two lions in the jungle scissoring. Like, what kind of mess is that? You're not going to see it. Because they know their order, what they're naturally supposed to do. And they don't defile it, you know, because of some nasty culture. All right. If you're so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American, you know, here in Columbus, Ohio, you know, I'm Officer Quatazar. I'm the officer here that help you, you know, get your questions answered, you know, lead you to the right counsel if you need it. You know, we have prison programs, you know, we have food programs coming. Lord, we'll get a school in the barracks, but we have that in every other city. So if you have a question, man, call in, you know, Cross the Line Radio, log into a class. You know, you don't have to have a narrative identity disorder to whereas you make up stuff to try to make sense of your life, man. Like, period. That's like, man, that's like somebody saying, look, man, look, this is what happened if you stick some scissors in a socket. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get powered up. Your crystal is going to glow. Now your chakras and all this other stuff are going to align with the solar system. All that's a lie, man. If you don't do what's necessary and conducive to your health, you're going to die. So instead of making something up and dying over it, how about you keep these laws, statutes, commandments, and fear the Lord? Coming to this truth, man, it's going to make you free. Free of what, might you ask? That drug addiction. You know, that makes you spend your last $20 knowing that you need gas on a sack of boo-boo, man, some Reggie. You know, you rather spend your last, you know what I'm saying? Then, you know, the weight probably going to be off on some midget. You're going to come up short every dang on time. Now you got to risk your life, and you're going to take the little sack with you to the gang on gas station to get some blunt wraps, and you're going to be paranoid the whole way. You might just be so out of it, you know, you don't even care. You know, you could be free from that mess, man. You could be free from having to run to the bathroom to do a line of coke so you can just keep working your 12, 15 hours so you can buy some old shirt that costs $4 that you're willing to pay $800 for just to get some woman who don't give a damn about you, to what? Be in your company and take her out and have to spend more money? What's the sense? You can be free from all that, man. You can be free from being a predator to children. You can be free from that. You can be free from, being a drunkard, because whatever situation you're dealing with, you can be free from being just a selfish bastard because no one ever came to your birthday party or got you anything from Christmas. No, you could be free from that bitterness because somebody left you. You can be free from that bitterness because you never get invited to a Christmas party. You can be free from any childhood traumatic drama that happened to you in the Christian church, because that's where it happens at. You can be free of all that, man, if you come into this truth. What's going to cost you? That pain and that depression, that sickness that you need to let go anyway? Yeah, let it go. Come into the truth, man, so we can bring down those strongholds. Ask your questions. You don't have to suffer. Suffer, man, just because of, lust of the flesh. Understand that you're so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian, man. Proverbs 16:18 says, pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. So when you think about the pride of this wicked nation, they think that they just going to go to war with the Most High Power when he comes back. You can be a homosexual. You can do this. You can do that. That pride because he has the biggest army and he fears no man. Well, they go before his destruction. And we're starting to see it. And a haughty spirit, man, before the fall. What does haughty mean? Let's look it up. Haughty. According to Webster's, haughty, blatant and disdainfully proud, having or showing an attitude of superiority and contempt for people or things perceived to be inferior. Man, woo! Every time you see one of them devils, man, that's what they doing. They don't care about nobody. It could be a baby sleeping. As soon as they get to feeling good, woo! Like Macho Man Randy said, let me tell you something. Like head behind. Like, no. So proud, man. And everything he says, thinks nothing's going to happen. Police pull him over. He out the car before the police. Oh my God, he hear two doors closed. His door and then the police door. What you pull me over for, man? That proudness, you know what I'm saying? Let it be a so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American Indian. Yeah, you put your hands out the window all you want. Hands up, don't shoot. That's like, come shoot me, putting your hands up. You best believe I ain't putting my hands up. So lucky. But I won't be victimized, man. That's not what I'm taught in here. I go to war with my demons. That's what Commander Junior Hunter taught me, how to go to war with my demons. Because everybody's born with them. You think you can coexist with them, but you can't. Because you have a different job. I just read it. Your job is to what? Fear the Lord and keep his commandments. That's the conclusion of the whole matter. A demon's job is to destroy you. And he destroys you by getting you to do things contrary to that. That little voice in your head, when you get to watching class and you start to understand things, that little voice is going to try to drag you right back into the world so they can destroy you. It can kill you. They can bring you great shame. So you can be a meme crying on the news, talking about mama, I love you, P.O.P., whatever. And all the memes they made about R. Kelly, you know what I'm saying? And man, understand that if you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American Indian, that is not our culture. This American culture is not ours. Understand that. All right. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and end the class. But before I do, we're going to go through these prayers with that Imagine. Oh, man. Upon your aquadams, turn and face the east. Security announcements first. Salakia. So we are the IGBK started on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister in the school. When a brother and sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is 6 months in which the brother, and sister will court each other. After the 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18 and 21. Malachi 3, 8 through 10, which means a tenth in the Hebrew, ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. All right. Give to General Ma'ak'Allah or the teacher. Priest fund. Free will offering for the priest, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. The upcoming Holy Convocation, I believe it's in September. Let me make sure. Salakia. Upcoming Holy Convocation is going to be September 25th, the blowing of the trumpets. All right. Remind Aki and Akwath to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black. Boots, shirts, pants, and headband, scarf. All right. So, Wapanya Hakwadam needs to turn to the east, and we're going to go through these prayers. Salakia. It's the Lord's Prayer. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemaya, Kodash, Ayah, Shankar, Yahweh, Malakwath Kaf, Taba'ah, Ratazayaka, Hayah, Asha, Ba'aratazah, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamaya, Nathan, Lanawa, Lakam, Kal, Yawam, Wasalakinawa, Kabawafinawa, Kasalakinawa, Kabawafinawa, Wala'ah, Tabayayanawa, Banasaya 1, Abal, Hawashayanawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwaf, Waha Allah, Waha Thapara, La'awalamyam, Amen. In the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Salakia. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom, power, and the glory forever. So be it. Prayer for the power. Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Babakashah, Lathalanawa, Hakak, La Rapa'ah, Ka Maka'ala, Ka Makala, Waka Matawa, Hakak, Latahar, Hamatazarayam, Hakak, La Hakwayam, Hamatim, Hakak, Arakawaf, Hatama'ala, Lagarsham, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Thuwada Amah. Lord, in the name of Jesus, please give us the power to heal all manner of sicknesses, all manner of diseases, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits to cast them out. In the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you, so be it. Prayer for the blessings. Barakatah Yahweh, Wa Yahweh Shai, Wa Yamaka'ala, Wa Alahayim, Matazabaya, Alawap Yahana, Ha Alawapim, Ha Saranya, Ha Kwatazayanyam, Ha Kadiyoyam, Wa Ha Akwathiam, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, the water of Amah. In the English, bless you, Yahweh, and Yahweh Shai, and Michael, and the angels, commanding General Yohana, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, the sisters, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you, so be it. It's Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah, Ayanya, Aharia, Ma'ayan, Yaba'ah, Azariah, Mayan, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemayim, Wa'aratazah, Ayathan, Lamawat, Ragadka, Al Yanawam, Shamarka, Hana, La'ah, Yanawam, Wala'ah, Yashashan, Shawamar, Yasharala, Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Al Yad, Yamyanka, Yawamam, Hashamash, La'ah, Yakaka, Wayarak, Bala Yallah, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makal Rai, Yashamar Athnapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar Tazaatka, Wabuwaaka, Ma'ai, Wa'ai Awalam. And in English, I will lift up mine eyes into the hills, from which cometh my help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. Psalms 83. Alahayim, Al-Damaya Laka, Al-Takarash, Wala Tashakwat, Kayahana, Al-Wabiyabyaka, Yahaman, Yawam, Ra'ash, A'imaka, Ya'arya Yawam, Sawada, Wayatha, Ya'ai Tazawa, Al, Tazawapan Wanka, Yanka, Awamar, Lakawa, Wakakiran, Magawaya, Wa La'a Yazakar, Sham Yasharala, Iwada Kaya, Nawa Itezawa, Laba, Yakadawa, Al Yaka, Barya, Yakarathwa, Alahaya, Alahaya, Adawam, Wa Yashamai, Alayam, Mawa'aba, Wagariam, Gabal, Wa'aimawan, Wa'aimalak, Palasha, Am Yashabia, Tazawar, Gam Ashawar, Nalawa, Aiman, Hayawa, Zerawai, Labanya Lawat, Selah, Aisha, Laham, Gamadian, Kasaya, Sarah, Kayabian, Banakal, Kashwan, Nasha Salakia, Nasha Madwa, Nasham Salakia, Nasha Madwa, Barya Darya, Hayawa, Da'am, La Dama, Shayatamwa, Lada, Ya'ab, Mawa, Ka'aru, Wakaza Abba, Wakaza Bak, Wakaza Tar, Ma'ai, Kal, Naya Sakamwa, Naya Saya Kal, Nasaya Kamwa, Ashar, Amawar, Nayarashwa, Lanawa Ath, Na'athwa, Alahayam, Alahaya, Sayatamwa, Kagalagala, Kakwash, Lapanya Rawak, Ka'ash, Taba'ira Ya'ira, Wakalahaba, Talahat, Hariam, Khan, Taradatma, Basairiko, Wabasa, Wapathka, Tabahaun, Malaa, Panyaha, Palawan, Wayabakwashwa, Shamka, Yahawa, Yabashwa, Wayabahawa, Adyai, Wayakaparwa, Wayabadwa, Wayadarai, Kayath, Shamka, Yahawa, Labadka, Al Yawan, Kal Ha Rataza. In English, keep not thy silence, O God, hold not thy peace, and be not still, God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel, Salakia. They have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, the Hagarenes, Gebal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot, Selah. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kisam, which perished at Endor. They became a dung for the earth. Make their nobles like a Reb and like Ze'eb, all their princes as Zabah and as Muna, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. O my power, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth their wood, as the flame set the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid of thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name. O Lord, let them be confounded in trouble forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high over all the earth. I'm going to go through these curses. Okay. Blessed are you, Yahweh, King of heaven and earth, and all things living. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai. Listen to us now, right now. Send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the heathen that speak against us, thy prophets, the teachers, the princes, the priests, the Israelite brothers, and the school. Send evils and curses, punishment and destruction to the heathen, and shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel that refuse to give to the school. Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary. Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the Edomites and the nations and their drug dealers, the court system, the prison system, Planned Parenthood, all the governments of our enemies, Amalek synagogues and armies, Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, Islam, Christianity, Egyptology, militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, skinhead, Posse Comitatus, the gay movement, the lesbian movement, spies, workers of witchcraft, NASA space program, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Wall Street. Open up the internet and the airwaves, the cable access channels, the radio channels. Convict the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us and bring swift destruction to all the heathen that stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your words throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues. Cause them to go to and fro through the earth and consume them. Let the plague shake loose the house of the thief and the murderer. Let Yahweh Shai, Michael, and Gabriel come down with the flying saucers and punish all the heathens that come up against us as we speak thy word. Cause it to be known by all that it is the angels that have done it. Cause it to be spread through the media throughout the whole world. Cause them to shake at thy coming. In the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you. So be it. So, sorry. Daddy gonna render one courtesy salute to the teacher. Hamad Shabbat, Barak, Yahweh Shem Yah Shabbat. All right, turn to face the sisters. One courtesy salute to the sisters. Hamad Shabbat, Barak, Yahweh Shemar Thah Shem Yah Shai. All right, with that, y'all's top. Class dismissed. This thing.